Good morning, y'all, or whatever time of day you might be watching this. It's your boy Biosparta 3.0, keeping the action going with something a little different today, alright? I thought we would take a look at three of my personal favorite pieces in my collection now, the Spidey collection. These are not actually action figures, but more like figurine statues that I got from MUGICO on Etsy. He has a Etsy shop. I found out about him through Instagram. I saw an Instagram post that showed one of these figurines off, and I was very, very intrigued because, I instantly recognized the design to be based off of the Spider-Man 2000s game on PC and PlayStation 1. And I had it on a PC as a kid, and this was like my favorite Spider-Man game growing up, like the first one that I really used to play consistently. I remember wow, the flashbacks are crazy. I remember being a kid on my, parents' home computer, back when we had a little office, or our one family computer that we used to use. And we used to, my sister and I used to play games on it. And this was like my favorite game to play back then. And, Spider-Man 2000, and it was just, man, I used to play that game all the time, literally at home. And then sometimes I'd come with my dad to work, and my dad had separate laptops at work, and I would even bring the game and play it on some of his laptops there. Such a good time, man. So much nostalgia when I see like these figurines. They really take me back to playing that game. And but yeah, man, just really, really good times. And so I was intrigued, so I went to MUGICO's shop. Again, he does have a shop on Etsy. And he made different versions basically of Spider-Man from the first PC game, or like the first game that came out. And then he also made one based off of several, I guess, based off of the Spider-Man 2. I think it's Inter Electro. I never had that game, but I do know that in that game he had this stance a lot, and like when he was not fighting, he would kind of like stand with his hands on his hips, I guess. And then in the first game, he would always be like in a more crouched position like this. So this is like more of what I'm used to seeing as far as like Spider-Man in the game. But because again, I didn't have the second game. But yeah, these are some really, really dope looking pieces. I mean, he nailed it as far as like the look and the sculpt of how these guys looked in the game. I mean, he nailed it. I mean, this is exactly how Spider-Man used to look, as well as Venom. You can see we got Venom in the background there. Let's not forget about, our boy Venom. Man, it's just crazy how well he was able to recreate, the game models of, these characters in like a statue, 3D form, which is really, really dope. So I absolutely love these. These are great additions, like I said, to my collection, the Spider-Man collection. And I'm definitely gonna have them on display. I've had them in my room, kind of just like on my dresser, as of recent. But pretty soon I will be putting them into my display case with the rest of my, action figures. And yeah, I think they're just gonna be a great placeholder for the Spider-Man collection. But yeah, I figured we just take a closer look at each one, up close, see what they, what they look like, what they're all about. All the details and everything. And this will just be like a quick video, keeping the Spider-Man theme going. I know July is coming to a close, and I still got some figures to review, as well as some other Spider-Man content to put out. So be on the lookout for that. Obviously, we got Brand New Day coming out the 31st, and that is, the last day of July. I will still be bringing a little bit more Spider-Man content into August, so because Spider-Man technically, his debut as far as like the comics was in August. I believe like Spider-Man Day is August 3rd, I want to say. So I will still be bringing some Spider-Man content into August. So don't worry about that. If you wanted to see maybe some more Spidey content, don't worry. I will, like I said, bring some into next month as well. But then after that, we're gonna transition into some other things. But for July, I definitely wanted to close it out with a lot of Spider-Man content, because this is kind of like a Spider-Man month, at least for me. And yeah, so we'll start off with this one right here. This is the one from the first game. All right, like I said. And yeah, this design, the way the textures are on it, you can see like you can't really see like any web pattern on the red parts of his costume or anything. And I would say he definitely based this design more off the PS1 game model as opposed to the PC, because on the PC one, the graphics were more refined, and you could see you know, like the web excuse me, patterns of like kind of like going through his suit in the game. You could actually see like the black lines, like, you know, the web pattern going through the red parts of his costume. Whereas on the PS1 version, it was like the graphics were kind of toned back. So, you know, I guess that's how it works. You know, I'm not like a super game nerd or anything as far as like, you know, how they work, but I do know, I think like as you go up to like bigger consoles and like bigger systems, the graphics, you know, get more complicated, so they're not gonna look as you know, detailed and refined as you go up, unless you know, you have to like, I guess, you know, put some work into it in order to like refine it so that it looks the same as like on a smaller system. I think that's how it goes. So yeah, on the PS1 there's kind of like less detail and you know, textures and things that you see. So this is more of like a basic texture or whatever that you would see on the PS1. But it still looks really nice. You know, the colors are still there. They pop. Really nice red and blue. And these are you know, hand painted pieces. So, you know, he did a really good job on this. He sculpted it, I mean, just like how it looked in the game, the PS1 version. Even though I didn't have this on PS1, but you know, I'm familiar with how it looks. And yeah, like I said, like he really nailed it. I love like all the kind of shapes, even though they don't look like, you know, true like muscle shapes. You can see like what they were trying to do back then as far as like, you know, getting like the musculature, and like, you know, there's no like real like defined muscles throughout his body. He's kind of just like, he almost just looks like a singular like blob with like a little bit of like, you know, indentations here and there that are meant to replicate, you know, muscle groups and whatnot. But I like that a whole lot. You know, this is back at a time when obviously graphics weren't what they are now. This game came out in 2000, so it's literally 26 years old at this point. But yeah, I mean, for the time, this was amazing, man. I had so much fun playing this game, and just to see these, you know, these pieces come to life and represent you know, the game that I used to play just really takes me back, man. I absolutely love these pieces and like how he did them. You can see like even the spider symbol that he painted on the chest is very accurate to the game. It's a very like unique kind of shape that he had on the front logo in the game. You really don't see it like in any other games or pretty much any other media. This specific spider logo that's like on his chest. It's like pretty unique to this game. It's got like a very classic look with I don't know, like a little bit of like a spin on it, just like as far as the overall shape of the spider and like the legs, how they sit like on his chest. Yeah, very, I would say, specific to this game, but I do really like how it looks and how it came out. You can see, yeah, it's a lot of like triangular and like angular shapes that kind of like make up the majority of like his body and whatnot, but it looks really cool. And it seems like he may have like done some shading on this, or like maybe put darker reds in certain places, because when the light hits it, yeah, you know, you guys can kind of like see it on camera, but you can see there's like darker areas of red on him and then kind of like lighter. And that could just be maybe the light playing off of like all the different like recesses of the sculpt, but I think he probably did do some maybe differences in red as kind of like a shading effect to add to like the depth of this. And yeah, it looks fantastic, man. Such a nice piece. So that's how it looks front to back. You can see the back logo, nice classic, you know, fat spider logo on the back. Very nicely done. You can see as it comes to this like little point in the middle of the spider, there's a little bit of like blue bleeding through, but not too bad. It still looks really nice. especially for a hand painted piece. So yeah, man, I absolutely love this. Again, this is based off of the first the first game. This is like the PS1 version model of how he looked in the first game that came out, and he would always be in like this, yeah, like kind of weird like crouch stance when he was like not fighting. Like he would always just be in this kind of like low stance, like he was getting ready for a fight. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, that is the one from the first game. So we'll put him aside for a second. Let's take a closer look at the model from the second game, Inter Electro. And this one actually came with a base, which is nice. I'll show that off in just a second. But yeah, I'm taking off his base. You can see there was a little metal rod that kind of like kept him on the base. But yeah, we'll take a closer look at that in just a minute. But for right now, let's bring in Spider-Man himself a little bit closer. And I believe this one is also based off of the PS1. It could be the PC version, I'm not too sure, but I will say that you can at least, you know, right off the bat, you can see that you can see more of like the web lines, the texture for the webs, web pattern in his costume on the red. It came out looking really, really good. And yeah, and he's, you know, obviously he's in a different stance now. This is where he's kind of standing straight up and he's got his hands on his hips. He did do this stance in the first game a little bit, but usually it was more during like cutscenes or like, yeah, I would say like mostly like cutscenes in the first game when he would kind of like do this. But and then, you know, like for the rest of the game he'd be in that more like lower crouch stance. But in Spider-Man 2, which, you know, I never played the Inter Electro. My buddy Joe, I think he had it and he played it. And he told me like this is accurate to the second game. Like this is how he would stand when you weren't fighting. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, this is a very, very nice piece representative of that game. And you can see he's even got the web wings like under his armpits there, which is very, very nice. That's a nice touch. I think that's exclusive to the second game, because I know in the first game he definitely didn't have like any webs under his arms. So that's pretty cool. That's classic, like, you know, Spidey stuff, first appearance Spider-Man stuff right there. But yeah, just the overall sculpt on this, awesome, man. Really, really love how it looks. And like I said, you can see the webs kind of sculpted. The pattern is sculpted into, you know, the red parts of his suit. And it just looks really, really good. I love how he painted the eyes as well. How they kind of have like a fuzzy look, because, you know, it does, the fact that they're not like perfectly you know, refined kind of really replicates the how he looked in the game very, very well. And I like that, the kind of like fuzzier look to the paint. That's kind of like, you know, how the graphics would look back then. So I really, really like that, kind of like the imperfection of that. It looks really, really good, as well as like the spider symbol on his chest. And the color of red and blue that he used, I really love. You know, the vibrant red and blues, because it does match the game very well. And you can see the spider symbol on his chest. And it's pretty much the exact same as the, like from the first game, as far as like the front logo goes, and then the back as well. Really like how this back one came out. Nice and symmetrical, and just looks really, really good. Classic, you know, back spider logo. You know, looks more like a tick, right? Because it's so fat, but you know, classic stuff there. You can see all the paint is continued in the back, even for like the webs under his arms. Everything is just beautiful as far as the sculpt on this guy. Really, really nice. And it really does look like a game model instead of like a, you know, actual human in a suit. But, you know, very, very nice representation of what was seen in the game. You can see he's got more of that web pattern down here in the boots. Very, very nicely sculpted. And obviously these kind of like unrealistic triangular shapes for like the feet and whatnot. Definitely, you know, reminiscent of the game as opposed to an actual Spider-Man. Let's see if we can get some, okay, yeah, there we go. And just look at all the textures like sculpted even in like the blue parts of his leg to kind of like mimic you know, muscle fibers and striations, things in the suit. Just very, very cool. Such a nice piece, man. I love it so much. Even though I didn't have the second game, I've seen like plenty of gameplay of it online, and yeah, it takes me back, man. I wish I would have at some point gotten the second game as well, but just having that first game was absolutely amazing as a kid. Really enjoyed it. At least until I got to the last level. The last level pissed me off, man. That is, for those who know about the first game and played it, that last level, man, was absolute BS. Like, it was one of the hardest levels that I've seen, like, to this day. And I never did beat it, unfortunately. Like, I tried so many times. I remember my sister even tried, and like both of us, we just could not get past that last level. It was ridiculously hard when you fight Monster Rock at the end. So it's basically like a combination of Carnage and Doc Ock. Yeah, that level was stupid hard because you literally don't fight him. You have to like run away because he's just too powerful, like too strong. Like you can't even deal with him. So you gotta like run away, and you're like in this underwater base thing, and it's like blowing up behind you as Monster Ock is like chasing you around. And you have to like swing through all these little like hallways basically, and there's like all these like obstructions in your way, like different doors or like whatever it may be. You got to turn corners like really fast because Monster Ock is like right behind you the whole time. So yeah, like if you slow down even for a second, like he'll catch up to you and basically kill you. So it was like one of the hardest levels I ever played in the game. Pissed me off, but aside from that particular level, this game was awesome, man. I enjoyed like every level. There was so much comic stuff in that game that was just great. Like all the villains and side characters, the cutscenes, the little stories, little side missions that you had, the suits that you could unlock. Oh man, so awesome! Like the spider armor, or like the Ben Reilly suit, the black suit. I mean, there were so many good suits that you could get in this game. If you found like little comic books around the area on different levels, just really dope stuff, man. Such a great game. One of my first introductions to Spider-Man as a kid. So yeah, it brings back a lot of memories. But yeah, so there is the Spider-Man 2 piece, Enter Electro, and he can technically stand without his base, but it is a lot easier for him to stand with the base. So just wanted to put that out there. But yeah, I'll move him aside and I'll let you see the base up close. See, now he wants to fall over. I guess I'll just lay him down over here. But yeah, just so you can see what the base looks like. It's got a little bit of dust on it, and wipe that off. But yeah, you can see we have a nice black, round base, and it says on there at the top, it says Enter Electro Spider-Man 2. All right, so yeah, that's how you know this is based off of the second game. All right, so hopefully the camera's picking all that up. But yeah. So it's got like the classic, animated Spider-Man text, Enter Electro, Spider-Man 2, and then at the very bottom it says, what does that say? It says MUGICO, and then I believe it says MUGICO again, but in like maybe Japanese. Looks like, Japanese characters. I don't know how well that's going to show up on camera, but yeah. So it's like MUGICO, and then like a dash, and I think like his name again maybe in Japanese. You can see all that dust in there. Hopefully I'm able to, probably have to get like a duster to really get in the crevices of the logo there. Kind of clean that off a bit, but yeah. Hopefully you guys are able to see all that. But yeah, really nice base. Just a standard black base with all the sculpt of the the game name in there, and then you can see there's like a little hole right here, and that is for that metal rod that fell out earlier. Kind of doesn't really stay in there. You might need to like glue it in, but yeah, there's like a little metal rod right here, and you can plug that in obviously to the hole in the base. And then Spider-Man himself, he does have a hole at the bottom of one of his feet. So yeah, on his bottom of his right foot, he has a hole right there, and obviously that is where you're going to slide the peg or the rod into, and it just slides right down, and now you got him on the base, and that's how he looks with the base. And yeah, it's great. I definitely recommend the base because, like I said, he does have a tendency to kind of like want to fall over without it. You can get him to stand without it, but it is a little tricky, so he's definitely better balanced when you use the base. He shouldn't have any problems falling over. But yeah, so there is your Spider-Man 2 piece. And then we have, of course, last but certainly not least, we have Mr. Venom. Now this one I was super excited for because I love how Venom looked in this game. The voice actor, his name escapes me right now, but I absolutely loved his performance as Venom in the game. It was so good, man. Venom was like just like an absolute menace in this game, but he was hilarious. Like all the lines that he said to Spider-Man throughout this game were just had me cracking up the whole game, man. I like had like a love-hate relationship with Venom in this game. But I mean, overall, I loved him just because he was so funny. Like all the little quips he would say, like back to Spider-Man, were hilarious. But yeah, you could see we have this. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna say this is the PS1 game model of Venom, and what kind of gives that away is the spider logo on his chest, as you can see. I could be wrong. I'll have to double check on this, but I'm like 99% sure that his logo on the the PC version, the computer version, the logo is more classic, meaning like you can see on the logo on this one how it kind of like zigzags like up and down, and that's kind of like the only artist I know who kind of like drew it like this with like the two zigzags before it like comes around on the side is like Eric Larson, and I'm sure there are other comic artists that did it as well, but I believe he was like the first one to draw the spider logo on his chest like that with the two zigzags before it wraps around the side. And then I think I'm like 99% sure in the PC version, it's more of like the Mark Bagley classic logo, so it only goes up like once before it wraps around. It doesn't have like the two mountains or like up and down pattern before it wraps. So I'm pretty sure that's like one of the main differences between the Venom models of the PS1 and the PC version. I'm like almost certain about that, but I'll check after this video, and if I'm wrong, I'll correct myself in the description. But this is such a nice piece, man. It did take a little bit of assembly, so he does come in like separate pieces. So like the body itself is pretty much one piece, and then you had the head. You can see the head comes off, which is a very, very nice head, by the way. But yeah, you can see the Venom head comes off, but it's a great sculpt, man. I mean, really does look just like the game. Very kind of classic look for Venom. He's got a long jaw. You see the teeth are all sculpted in there, and even the tongue was a separate piece. The tongue comes out, but he's got like these little symbiote tendrils that are like sticking off of his head. I mean, I love how that looks, and even the paint like inside the mouth looks so nice, so good. Oh man, like that like dark pink color for the inside, and then the light pink for the tongue, his gums and everything. Really nice. Right, so that's his head, and then yeah, for the base body, he's the arms actually are separate pieces. So like the arms do come out. I'll just take one out, so you can see that they slide out, and they've got like these kind of like rectangular pieces that you use to insert. All right, so you basically just slide that in to where his shoulders are, or would be. All right, so both arms come out like that, and then yeah, the torso and the legs are like all one piece, so you don't have to worry about that. This little piece, this little tendril piece on his knee over here actually like comes out. I'm not gonna take it out, but it is a separate piece. So this one on this side, on his right knee, it is a separate piece when you get it. So you just kind of like insert that one in, and then I believe there was one more. Yeah, this one back here, this tendril piece back here by his butt, that was a separate piece as well. So you can, you have to insert that in when you get them. But yeah, I mean, he looks so good, man, front to back. Let me go ahead and put his head back on real quick. Let's go ahead and slide his head back on. You can see there's like two rods, basically like where his neck goes. There's like two metal rods that come out, and you just basically have to line up the holes in the back of Venom's head with those. Kind of slide it in. And then you have Mr. Venom. And man, this looks just like the game Venom. So good, man. This came out like so nice. I love he used like different shades of blue to kind of give him like some shading, which is really nice. Definitely reminds me of the game. So you have like darker blues, a little bit lighter blues, kind of like in the muscle areas around him. It really gives him a nice look. And the overall logo is painted beautifully front to back. It wraps around to the side there, as you can see. Comes all the way to the back, and even has like a little bit of like a spine kind of like protruding there, as you can see. Those circles meant to emulate like his spine. But yeah, the logo on the back looks really good as well. Maybe one more coat of white would have helped it, because you can see like a little bit of the blue bleeding through, but not too bad. I mean, just a really nice Venom piece. And he is a big boy. Venom was pretty big in this game, so you can see he was a lot bigger than Spider-Man. You can see MUGICO's name right there again on the side of his thigh there. MUGICO is printed on his leg right there. Hopefully you guys can see that. But yeah, just a very nice piece. You can see he's even got like the white for like his where his webs would shoot out on top of his hands. So there's some like blue spots in there. I'm not sure if that was intentional or if like maybe the paint just wasn't the best right there, but yeah, he does have like those white things for the top of his hands. And yeah, just a very nice piece. He's got like this kind of like rough bumpy pattern on the top of or like on his fingers there. I don't really remember that in the game, but maybe that's how it looked in the PS1 version. I definitely don't remember that in the PC version, but yeah, he's got this kind of like weird like lumpy pattern going on for his fingers, but that's kind of interesting. But yeah, overall, just like the look of this guy is fantastic, man. Absolutely love this Venom figure. So, not really figure, more like a statue, but yeah, great representation of what we saw in the game, man. Just such a good figure. And yeah, I love it, man. So yeah, this is MUGICO again. He does have an Etsy shop. I will put the link to it in the description if you guys are interested in these pieces, because they are really great pieces. And if you're